everyone, in this video I'll show you how to crochet this simple pair of striped mittens. I hope you will enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and let's get into it. Now, to make these mittens, I will be using 3 colors. This is a double knit yarn and I will be using this for the ribbing only. This is sock weight yarn and I will be using for the main work to create the stripes. Then you will need 3.5mm hook or any other hook that's recommended for your yarn of choice, needle, stitch marker, and scissors. This is beginner friendly and made to measure tutorial, so hopefully you will be able to learn something new. Speaking of learning something new, let's talk about Craftsy, the sponsor of today's video. Craftsy is an online learning platform with over 2,000 classes taught by experts, from crochet to knitting, sewing, quilting, painting, gardening, and so much more. What I love about Craftsy is that it's not just tutorials. You get step-by-step lessons, chance to ask questions, and you can even be part of a community where you connect with other members. So whether you are just starting out or looking to improve your skills, Craftsy makes it easy with everything in one place. And the best part, Craftsy is super affordable and you get unlimited access to all classes. So if you guys want to pick up a new hobby or try out Craftsy, make sure to click the link in the description down below, and the first 1,000 people to sign up will get full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Offer is valid for new members only. Thank you Craftsy for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it. To start, I will be creating this ribbing, so you will need to decide how many chains you want for the length of your ribbing, and it's 14 single crochets for me. So to start, you want to make a slip knot, put your hook in, and I will be chaining 14 plus 1 as my turning chain, but you can do as many as you want. To chain, you want to yarn over and pull it through the loop on your hook, yarn over, pull it through, and sew on until you have the number of chains that you need. And that is 15 chains for me. Now to start, I'm going to skip this very first chain and go into the second one to do single crochet. To do that, you want to yarn over and pull through. You will have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. Into the next one, go in, yarn over, pull through 2. And do this in every single chain till the end. At the end of your row, chain 1, turn your work, and now for every single row after this, you will be doing it into a back loop only to create ribbing. To do that, you want to go into the back loop only. So if you look at your work from the top, you'll see that you have this V, and you always want to go into this back loop and do your single crochet. Into the next one, through back loop only, do your single crochet and repeat till the end. At the end, chain 1, turn your work, and you will repeat this second row as many times as you need until your ribbing is long enough for your wrist. I will be doing 30 rows in total, and from here, after I chained 1 and turned, I'm just basically gonna go into the back loop of every single stitch and do single crochet like this. So let me do mine and I'll show you what to do after this. Now, once you finish your ribbing, this is how it will look. You want to make sure that it will fit around your wrist and have it on a tighter side so that your mittens do stay on and they don't slip off, if that makes any sense. But once you are finished, you want to pull it right sides in, like so, and you're gonna slip stitch it together. So I'm gonna go from the side where I have my foundation chain. I'm gonna go into the very first stitch here and then through the front loop of my last row, pull through my yarn and do a slip stitch like this into the next stitch, and then through the front loop of my last row stitch, pull it through and do a slip stitch. And you will do this in every single stitch. I have 14 in total. And my last stitch here, I'm gonna chain 1. I'm gonna cut off this color because I'm not gonna be using this anymore, and I'm gonna pull it through. Flip it to the right side. Then you're gonna grab your next color, which is this pink for me, and you will join it where you just slip stitched. So that's gonna be the side, and I'm gonna go in and join my yarn. Now if you are working with the same weight yarn as your ribbing, so this is double knit and this is sock weight, so it's gonna be different for me because I will need to make more stitches around. But if you are working with the same weight yarn as your ribbing, you're gonna make the same amount of stitches as you have the rows. So I have 30 rows and I would be making 30 stitches if I was using double knit yarn, but now I'm gonna make 44 stitches to basically compensate for my yarn because it is thinner. But yeah, you want to chain 1 and you're gonna single crochet around for your first round, and it's gonna be 44 for me. To do that, you're just basically gonna go around and place your single crochets like so. When you come all around, you're gonna go into the first single crochet of the round, pull up a loop and do a slip stitch to join it together. So that's your first round done. And now it's gonna be worked in rounds but always changing direction. So instead of going this way, I'm gonna go the opposite way. So after I chained 1, I'm gonna turn my work this way. And this is because single crochets worked in a round. So if I was to go this way, they do look different, and I want my single crochets to look like they are worked in rows instead of rounds. So I'm gonna turn, and for my second round I'm still gonna do single crochets all around. But before I do that, I'm gonna grab my stitch marker and I'm gonna mark my first stitch of the round. So from here, I'm gonna go into every single stitch and make single crochet. And I just finished my second round. I'm gonna take out the stitch marker. I'm gonna make my last single crochet and I will do a slip stitch to join it in a round. Then you're gonna chain 1 and pull up a longer loop if you are making this in 2 colors. And just because I'm gonna go back this way from the right side, I'm gonna join my yarn here. So into the first stitch from where I have my pink finished, I'm gonna do chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch like this. I'm gonna bring back in my stitch marker to mark the first stitch, and for the next 2 rounds I'm still gonna do single crochet in every single stitch. So this time in green, and I will be repeating every single color in 2 rounds to create those stripes. But you can do as many colors or just one solid color if you want to. And I now finished my round in this green color. Before you do a slip stitch, you want to make sure that your pink stays in the bag on the wrong side. And to slip stitch it, I'm gonna take out my stitch marker, do a slip stitch, chain 1, and just because I went this way, I'm gonna turn it and work from the wrong side now by doing my first single crochet. I'm gonna bring in my stitch marker again to mark the first stitch, and for the next round I'm gonna do single crochets. And I finished my second round in this green. I'm gonna take the stitch marker out, do a slip stitch to join it together, chain one and pull up a longer loop because this is where I'm gonna change color. But from here I'm gonna start doing increases, and before you do that you want to make sure that this still fits you. So just simply put your hand in, ignore all of the tails, and see if this looks all right. Now just because I'm using soft weight yarn, I'm gonna do increase round every 4 rounds, but if you are using double knit, aran, or chunkier weight yarns, I would suggest to do it every other round. And we will be doing increases until we come just where the thumb separates. So our work will reach this part, and this is where we will be separating the thumb from the rest. So I'll show you these rounds basically, but just bear in mind that you might need to do them more often than I, because my yarn is sock weight yarn. Now I just finished my green going from the wrong side, so for the pink I'm gonna go from the right side. So I'm gonna put my hook into the first stitch from the right side, grab this loop, tighten it up and pull it through like this. Ignore the green till later, make sure that you don't lose it, and we will come back to it later on. But now chain one. And for this increase round, I'm gonna be doing my increases 4 stitches from where I'm starting the round. So this is basically gonna be the part of my thumb, and I want to do increase 4 stitches after where I start and 4 stitches before I end. So you want to go in and place 4 single crochets, and then increase in your 5th one, which is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Then you're gonna continue single crocheting around until you have 5 stitches left. I'm gonna do this. Now when you are 5 stitches away from the end of your round, you will need to do increase again. So place 2 single crochets in 1 stitch and then single crochet 4 till the end. By the way, I'm not keeping my stitch marker because I just simply don't need it, but if you are a beginner, you can just move your stitch marker every single time you finish your row just to not get confused. But yeah, I'm gonna slip stitch it with my first stitch, chain 1, turn my work, and now for the next 3 rounds, like I said, I'm gonna do just single crochets around. So I'm gonna do 1 more round in pink, then 2 more rounds in green, and I'm gonna be repeating the same thing I just showed, but I'm gonna come back to it when I do finish my next 3 rounds of just single crochets. Again, if you are using thicker yarn, you might want to do more increased rounds, but you can always just put it on and see if it fits, if you need more increases, if you don't need any more increases, and so on. So I'm gonna do my next 3 rounds and I will see you then. I'm now at the end of my round, so I'm just gonna do a slip stitch, chain 1 and pull up a loop, and then I'm gonna repeat those 4 rounds again. So I'm just gonna show you how to do increase round. I'm gonna join my next color from the right side, and I'm gonna go in the opposite direction now. So I'm just gonna pull through my yarn, chain 1, and again I'm gonna do 4 single crochets before I place my increase. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now increase in the 5th one. So that's 1 and 2 single crochets in that same stitch, and then I'm gonna go doing single crochets until I have 5 stitches left. When you have 5 stitches left, place increase in the next by doing 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then do 4 single crochets till the end. slip stitch it with the first stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and now I'm gonna do the next 3 rows of just single crochets. So let me do that and I will see you then. And I have now finished my 3 rounds in just doing single crochets. This is where I'm gonna stop increasing because this is big enough. So I only had 2 rounds of increases in total, which might be different for you, but basically it is big enough, but it's not long enough yet. So I'm gonna do 1 more set of pink stripes, so 2 rows in pink until I'm gonna be separating for the thumb. So let me just do 2 rows in pink with no increases and I will show you what to do next. Now once you have your mitten up until the thumb area here, you're gonna cut off your color that's gonna be next because we will be reattaching it. But basically you want to count your stitches for the thumb. I'm gonna do 16 stitches in total, and I just basically put it on to see how many stitches I will need. I will be adding a couple of stitches in between this area, so don't worry if it's a bit tight, but this is how it should look. And again, I'm leaving 16 stitches for the thumb, the rest is gonna be for the rest. So yeah, I have the stitch marker here for now, and I'm gonna go into this very first one where my stitch marker is and join my second color. So just pull it through, leave a bit of a tail, chain 1, and into that same stitch go ahead and do single crochet. And now you're gonna single crochet up until the other side of your stitch marker. While doing my stitches, I'm gonna be hiding my tail in as well. So just basically when I do my single crochet, I have my tail above my crochet hook, like so. When you come to the other stitch where you have your stitch marker, take your stitch marker out, and this is what it will look. So you will have all of these stitches left here for your thumb. And now what you want to do is chain any amount of stitches that you want for the side that's gonna be here. I'm only gonna be doing 2, so I'm gonna chain 2, and then I'm gonna go into the single crochet and do a single crochet. You want to pull it tight and ignore this part of the stitches. And then for your second round, you're just gonna go in and single crochet around until you come to your chain that you did for the middle part. So let me just do this and I'll show you what to do. And I'm now at my 2 chains. So I'm gonna go into my first one and do a single crochet, and then same into the next one, do single crochet. And this is where my round ends. So just gonna find the first single crochet here after those 2 chains, do a slip stitch like so, and do a chain. So don't finish off this color, pull a bigger loop and leave it like this. And now I'm gonna cut off my pink one. I'm gonna pull through my loop and I'm just gonna tuck it in so that it doesn't get in the way. Now from this side, so from the wrong side, I'm gonna go into that 1 stitch that's of my 2. So where I had 2 chains, this is my first stitch where I finished, and I'm gonna join my other color, chain 1, do a single crochet, and if you want, you can always mark your first stitch with a stitch marker just to not get confused, and then go ahead and single crochet until you come to the end of this round. When you come around, just take the stitch marker out, go in and make a slip stitch to join in the round, chain 1. And it's pretty much the same thing as we did before. We just don't have any increases, but we are going in a round. And when you do chain 1, you don't want to go in the same direction, and you just basically flip it like so to go in the opposite way. And I'm gonna do that now. So I'm making my first single crochet and adding a stitch marker. I'm gonna single crochet all around. When you are at the end of the round, take off the stitch marker and do a slip stitch, chain 1. And just because this is 2 rows now, I'm gonna pull up a loop, drop this color, turn my work to the wrong side, and grab my second color. Let me just find the loop. I'm gonna grab this green loop and pull it through like so. Then I'm gonna chain 1, do a single crochet, mark the first stitch, and just like that I'm gonna do my next 2 rows in this other color. Then I'm gonna change back to pink, and so on. And you're gonna be repeating these rows until your mitten becomes long enough. So I'm gonna show you how it will look once I do finish it, but basically you just want to leave a couple of centimeters from the top, so it should come to pretty much here, and then we will start decreasing. But yeah, I'm gonna let you know how many rows I do for that. Now this is where I'm at. I did 20 rounds since I stopped doing the thumb, and it should be almost at the end. So basically I'm gonna do another 4 rounds, and this will finish off my mitten, and I will be doing the creases to close this bit off. So once you're happy how long your mitten is and you only have a bit left, for me it's gonna be 4 rows. You're gonna go ahead and change to your next color, which is green for me. So I'm just gonna pull this loop like this, tighten it up. I'm gonna chain 1. Now for this first round, I'm still gonna do single crochet into every single stitch, and I'm only gonna do my decreases from the next round. So just go ahead, do single crochets. At the end of the round, just slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain 1, turn your work. And now for this decrease round, you're gonna do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and this is basically doing 1 single crochet in your next stitch, decrease in the next 2. And to do that, you want to go into one of the stitches, pull up a loop, do the same in your next by pulling up a loop. You will have 3, then yarn over, pull through all 3. Again, 1 single crochet and decrease in the next one. 1 single crochet, decrease in the next one, and so on all around. At the end, just do a slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1, pull up a loop. Then I'm just gonna change my color to the pink one. Chain 1. And again, for this round, I'm just gonna do single crochets around. At the end of the round, slip stitch it together, chain 1, turn your work. And for this round, I'm gonna be doing decreases all around, so in all stitches. To do that, you basically go in, make your first decrease. You want to make them pretty tight. Do the same into the next one, and repeat this all around, but make sure that you do them a bit more tight. At the end, do a slip stitch into the first decrease you made, chain 1, and just before you finish any of these colors, make sure that this fits. This is how mine looks like. If you don't have nails like me, you might need to do less rows, but this is how mine looks. This is where I'm gonna finish it off, and I'm basically just gonna be cutting these colors off. I'm gonna cut green with any amount of tail, just enough so I can hide it in, and for the pink one I'm gonna grab a bit more because I will need to sew it together. And turn your mitten inside out. Now I just closed off my mitten without filming it, and I'm not too sure if this is gonna be good enough, but what you will want to do with your tail that you have left is just basically go in with your needle one way and sew it together. So you're gonna insert your needle through one stitch and the other stitch on other side, and then do the same with all of the stitches, sewing it shut, and then you will need to hide the tail in your work to make sure that it is secure. Now I hope this makes sense, but to hide your tails I can still show you that because I have plenty of tails left. So yeah, I do apologize that this did not record. You're gonna go under your stitches like this and hide your tail. To make it secure, you can just then change direction and go another way as well. And once you're done, just cut it off. Now to make your thumb, you want to flip it inside out again to your right side. This is how the top of the mitten will look like. And for the thumb, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing as we did here, but it's gonna be, you know, the tiny version, and it's gonna be less decreases at the top. But just to start, you want to grab the next color that comes in, which is green for me. You're gonna start off from the stitches you chained in the middle for the mitten. I had 2, so I'm just gonna join my yarn into the bottom of the chain I have here, which can be pretty hard, but just do your best inserting your hook, join your yarn, chain 1. In that same stitch, go ahead and do single crochet. That's 1 and 2 because I did chain 2. If you have different amount of chains for this part, do as many as you need. And now from here I'm just gonna go all around with single crochets. Let me just grab this tail so it doesn't get in the way. Now I'm gonna do single crochet in this corner as well so that there is no gapping, and then I'm just gonna do my single crochets in all of the stitches until I come all around. When I come at the end, I'm also gonna place a stitch where this corner is to reduce the gapping again. And I'm gonna slip stitch into the first single crochet I made for this round, like so. Chain 1. If you want, you can put the stitch marker in here to mark beginning of the round, but now for the next one, I'm gonna turn my work to the wrong side and I'm gonna do single crochets all around. So you already know this, you're gonna go ahead and do single crochets around. You're then gonna change your color and do the same until your thumb is long enough, leaving about 1 centimeter from the top for the crease round, which is just basically gonna be last 2 rounds. So let me do that and I'll show you how to finish it off. When you finish your 2 rounds in first color, you don't want to finish it off, just pull up a bigger loop so that you don't lose it. And I'm now gonna do it from the right side, so I'm just gonna go in join my next color, chain 1, do the single crochet in that same stitch, and I'm gonna do single crochets around for the next 2 rounds, and then again I'm gonna change color, do the same thing until it's long enough. And I'm now 2 rounds before finishing this thumb, so I have 10 rows from where I finished here, and I'm gonna do another 2 where I will be decreasing. So I'm just gonna finish this green off because I know I'm not gonna need any more. So I'm gonna cut it off with a bit of a tail, pull it through, and I'm gonna grab my pink one, chain 1, and for this round I'm just gonna be doing single crochets around. I'm then gonna slip stitch it together with my first stitch to finish the round, chain 1, turn my work, and for the next round I'm gonna be doing decreases in every single stitch, so decreases all around. Again, to do that you want to pick up a loop in the first stitch, pick up a loop in the next one, you'll have 3, yarn over and pull through all 3 like so. Then do the same thing in all of the stitches until you come around, and you want to try to make them as tight as you can so that there are no gaps. And at the end just do a slip stitch into the first decrease, chain 1, and cut off a bit of a tail. Pull it through, turn it inside out, and now you will need to sew this part together so that there is no gap. It was pretty much the same thing here, it was just bigger, which I didn't show, but hopefully you will be able to do it. What I do is basically I go through 1 stitch, both loops, second stitch, both loops, and pull my yarn. Then same thing into the next stitch, and there is only 1 stitch there, but I just simply sew it together like this, and then I'm gonna repeat the same thing, just going back to make it secure. Then hide your tail in and make sure that this one is secure, because if it does come out it's gonna start unraveling, so make sure that this one is hidden in securely. Once you're done, cut it off. You will need to make another one exactly the same, but this is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in my next one.